Hi, I'm Kim Vidge from the Educator Spin on It, and today I want to welcome you to our Hangout on Air, and our topic is planning summer activities for your child. I invited one of my blogging friends with me today who, she might not know this, was the first blog I started following as a mom to come in. Yes, you were. So I figured I would ask you how you plan out your summer activities with your child. So I have Allison McDonald from No Time for Flashcards. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. Allison, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit.
Oh, well, first of all, Kim, that's so cool that I was the first blog. That makes me feel so good. My name is Alice McDonald, like Kim said, and I blog at No Time for Flashcards. And so I've been blogging for 6 years, and my blog is packed with ideas for mostly the 2 to 5 year old set, but there's a lot more now that my son is older for the older kids. And there's quite a few infant stuff too. So things to keep your kids busy, but that you know are going to also teach them something.
That's wonderful. Basically, if you turn to Allison's site, No Time for Flashcards, she talks on every topic that you need to prepare your child for school. And I think that's probably why it was the source I turned to, and why many parents turn to you as the source. And, you know, on the Educator Spin on It, we try to share all those different content areas that you really need to support at home so that you have success at school too.
Exactly.
So first of all, I wanted to start with just one question is, I'm not a teacher. I am looking for ideas for my child to do this summer. Where would you recommend people turn to find activities to do? I know we can't all afford summer camp every single week, so those weeks we might be off. What are some sources to turn to? Do you want to start?
Pinterest, really, honestly, I mean, Pinterest has brought everything together for us. And there's tons of teachers on Pinterest, teaching blogs, and blogs like ours that are run by moms who were teachers and who are still very much active in education. And so there's a ton of ideas on Pinterest. And everyone's busy. It's a great place to go and have access to multiple ideas and multiple viewpoints too. So that would be, honestly, I'd love to say, just come to my blog or go to Kim's, but you'll get more if you go to Pinterest and check out, you know, the smorgasbord of ideas. So,
that's very true. Yeah, I think you and I both pin kind of on similar styles where we really are trying to curate the best content that's out there so that parents can jump on and kind of save time. So if they're on their boards, they're really getting pre-screened information that's ready for them to work with their child.
Exactly.
You know, we have a specific, really, it's almost like opening our lesson plans where you can see reading, writing, math, science activities, but we've even created some unique boards that it literally says summer activities or summer reading activity ideas. Do you have a specific board labeled with summer so they could find?
I have summer fun for kids, and then I have also a group board that's summer learning. But my summer fun for kids it has a whole schwack of different things. It's got food ideas I want to try with my kids because summer's a great time when they're not stressed to try those foods that they refuse to try during the year.
Right.
I have vacation ideas, you know, really targeted things like specific learning goals I might have for my kids, as well as probably like a sprinkler I want to buy at Walmart. You know, there's everything on it. And then I have more specific boards that really, like you were saying, I'm trying to pre-screen ideas. I'm not going to pick something unless I get and think, oh, why did I think of that? Like that's really kind of my like line where I cross. Oh, I'm going to pin it only if I think that it's rad. Like I don't want to put a bunch of garbage up there. Mm-hmm. So there is so many awesome ideas on Pinterest, and my board, the summer board, really is I'm trying to balance the totally open-ended fun with, like, by the way, I'm going to sneak in some handwriting practice because that's what my son needs to work on, you know. So finding that balance, I think, is important. You don't want your kids to start school stressed out, but you also don't want them to get there and have lost everything with the summer slog, which is real. So.
Yeah, I think you and I both experienced that teaching in classrooms, that there can be a gap of knowledge, what they left with in June and what they come back with in August. So it's really finding that balance when really fun, playful ideas, but then sneaking in learning.
Exactly. It's
Really
like sneaking in their veggies and the mac and cheese. Like during the summer, you have to be even sneakier. Because some kids, I know my son is like, "Am I learning something?" I was like, "I don't know. Are you?"
Maybe.
Like, poor kids and been taught constantly. But I mean, there's always learning. You just need to deal with it.
That's so true. And I think that's part of why we host the Love Books Summer Exchange, where kids are getting activities in the mail and a book from someone. And really, we hope that our readers would do it with their friends and play circles, is kind of sneaking in those playful learning activities along with a book. I think that's a great way to kind of sneak in learning over the summer. You let them pick a whole bunch of topics that they're interested in learning about, and then you just sneak in some activities that correlate to it. And you can definitely use Pinterest to search. They have now with the guided search options, there's even better ways to narrow it down to the specific content you're looking for.
It's great because if your kids are into Star Wars, you can teach any idea with that theme. And the kids will run with it. And the summer is such a great time to use novelty to your advantage. I mean, you can get messier, you can get dirtier, you can go outside all day. And so if you can find that balance where they are thinking that this is the coolest thing mom has ever let me do, but also they're learning something out of it, then I mean, you're golden. And you don't have to do this every day. I think oftentimes Pinterest makes people feel inadequate. And that's the one thing that if I could jump through people's laptop and say, don't worry, we're not all doing this every day. This is a little snippet.
And also snippets of years of curriculum that we've kind of collaborated with.
Exactly. I get questions all the time. What does your schedule look like? I'm like, it looks crazy town this week. It looks different all the time. I mean, I try and do a routine, but I mean, we're not these perfect teacher moms who are sitting down there. Our kids are doing algebra at 6. That's not what it's about. So I hope that Pinterest doesn't make people feel like that. It doesn't have to. I mean, pick a few things and run with it. Your kids are going to think you're awesome no matter what.
I know I try to let my daughter choose some topics that she's kind of interested in throughout the summer, and we might try to spread them out maybe every couple weeks, because you can't, even once a week is really hard to keep up with that, but kind of let it be student-driven of what we're learning about this year. And, we might be traveling this summer to India. We shall see. So obviously we'll be doing a lot of, we might be crossing my fingers, but obviously I'll be checking out more books about that and sharing different ways so that by the time we get to those summer travels where we're headed to, we've kind of done a little bit of background search about it. In fact, yesterday on the site we shared about kind of virtual ways to travel to places and play some landmark games with it. And I think you even have a post about visiting a museum where you kind of make a mock-up at home. And I think those are amazing ways to be able to use the internet with your child, where you're researching pictures together. Wikipedia would be my first source to go to because it's kind of been a little censored, and you might not run across the image you're looking for.
It's really come a long way.
It really has. So many fun ways you can do that, and different recipes that you could try and cook over the summer. And I think you'll find that your children will remember the things that you do far more than they will what they did for the 10 whole months in school that they were in, because it's hands-on. They're driven through their ideas of what to do.
And it's an experience. I mean, there's a difference between reading about something and experiencing something.
Mm-hmm. Now, I heard you say play outdoors all day. Do you have kind of an ideal schedule that you like to work in throughout the summer?
It's funny because as much as I'm like, okay, get outside, there are days when I'm like, guys, we have a really big yard. I don't know if you can I may even be able to a little bit of the yard. We have a giant front yard, which is great, except when I have work to do. And I'm like, okay, can I get the laptop outside? Because the reality is that whether you are a work-at-home mom, a work-at-home dad, or you have a nanny, sometimes there are adult things that you have to do. There just is. Mm-hmm. Because we all need to provide for our families in whatever way that is, whether that means doing the laundry or that means writing a blog post. So I try and make outside time as free and open as possible. And then after they're outside, I will drag something outside and be like, hey, what if we do this? Last summer we did a lot of reading picnics where I would take a blanket outside and throw some books on it. And then after they were into the books, I would be like, okay, I brought some paper out. Let's draw pictures of the books we did to try and get, you know, a little
longer. Yeah.
Extend it. So we do that, and then we also, my kids hate to hike. I love to hike. Like, my daughter's idea of hiking is I'm carrying her in the ergo. Well, the ergo only goes to 40 pounds, and she's like 37 and a half now. So I'm like, I don't think so, buddy. And my son will only hike if you have ice cream halfway. So we did that once where we had the ice cream in the backpack and said, okay, we're going to have an ice cream picnic, eat it, and they're like halfway back. It's not good. So that's my goal, is to make them like hiking this year. I live in a forest with hiking trails, so we'll see. But really outside, I just like to give them access to water and dirt and see what happens. Like, they have to do stuff with mud and plant things and shoot each other with water. I mean, they need to move. Kids don't move enough during the year. I mean, we have to balance that. And so if we can get them moving as much, and climbing trees. Oh, climbing trees. Yes, let your children climb trees. So yeah, good for them. So those are our outside. I mean, I don't really plan a ton. I have lots of outside activities, but they're fine. They're not long-term things.
Right. I think Amanda and I joke a little bit. I blog with Amanda on the Educator Spin on it, and we meet sometimes at the gym, and there's this like little play area that literally all it is a picnic table and stairs. And our kids over the years have played in there every time we meet together, and it's amazing to watch when there's nothing there, the imagination that sparks. I mean, literally, they'll play for 30 minutes and all sorts of different things that they've created, and it's just nice to be able to pause and watch and listen to the vocabulary they're using and the different dramatic scenes that they come up with, and it just shows the importance of, you know, you don't have to plan everything out. That's literally not planned. We didn't tell them what to do, but, you know, now they're both 7, so they've been doing it at least for 5 years. Like, that's their thing, and off they go. And, you know, we started adding elements, like we'd let them bring a little bag, and maybe they'd sit and collect rocks, and all of a sudden there's a store set up on the bench, and, you know, it's just planning for the time to allot for those opportunities, I think, is important during the summer. I know sometimes we get rushed here and there, and, you know, it's really stopping and make sure you have those moments for just literally child-driven play.
Well, where does creativity come from? If a child is never bored, they're not going to have to force them to be creative.
Exactly.
You know, I need imagination time. I'm going out to the front yard to imagine. So he has imagine time where it's just him talking to himself in the front yard, walking around, see what he's talking about. And it's awesome. And my daughter, like yesterday, she decided she just doesn't want to talk to anyone. She just didn't want to talk to anyone yesterday. But then at the park, she went off by herself, and all of a sudden, she was talking to herself. She just didn't want to talk to people. She really wanted to talk to her imagination.
No one was hearing what she was saying. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it.
You've got to let them have that time, and they don't need to be babysat all the time, and they definitely don't need to be entertained all the time.
No. And I would say just the teacher moment is have those things set out so that maybe when they come in, there's a preset empty book ready for them to draw pictures in of maybe something they were imagining outside, or, you know, just little things that you can sneak in, or maybe you notice they're obsessed with the insects in the yard, you know, so you might have books that relate to that, or a few toys that somehow manipulate into all those different learning things. And that's the little, you know, spin that I think as teachers we do, and as parents it's real easy to do, especially now with Pinterest. You can look up whatever key thing your child's into, and there you go.
I think a lot of parents think that if an activity only lasts 2 or 3 minutes, that it's not worth it. And that's definitely not true. I mean, especially the younger the child is, the shorter the activity is going to be. I mean, painting activities with a 2-year-old, if it's 5 minutes, you have hit the ball out of the park. I mean, they're not going to take that long to do it, and it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. So I think that having those invitations to play or to learn or to read, I mean, put some new books on their bed and say, hey, I put some new books on your bed. don't force them. They'll get to it when they're ready to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that is really important. The other thing is that I know with my son, if I say, hey, let's do this, he wants to come up with his usually totally he's not just sitting around, you know, finding the iPad. So
Right.
even if they don't do what you're doing or you suggest, it sparks them to do something else. So oh no, Kim, have we lost you?
I think you may be having some technical difficulties on my end. I should have apologized.
No, you're back.
Guys, we had a massive thunderstorm going on, and I think internet got a little yucky. Are you able to see me now? I should have said that ahead of time.
Yes, I can. I can hear you perfectly, and you're kind of lagging in and out visually, but I can hear you.
Okay, well, it might be time for us to just cut it short, I guess. Just little tips, if you can, Allison, of ways to use Pinterest, literally the platform, to plan your summer activities.
You know, what I would do is set up a board of things that you want to do, and maybe even set up different boards for different children if you have more than one child, with maybe a few little learning goals. So for my son, getting him to write more. And for my daughter, getting her to speak more. She has some speech issues. So for his activities, it would be all writing, and for hers, it would be activities where she would have to speak and talk, language learning things. But then make sure you're peppering in all the fun stuff too. And then also a secret board. I think every parent should have a secret board for ideas that are a little crazy, maybe. Those like big things, and maybe you get to one, maybe you get to none of them, but stuff like a bucket list, a dream bucket list of things that you want to do. So if the opportunity presents itself, you can be that really cool parent who set up something ridiculously fun in the yard for one day. And that one you could keep secret too. Secret boards on Pinterest are fantastic. They allow you to kind of play around and not worry about what other people are thinking of doing. You can't see them at all. So, and they're unlimited now. So you can, it's awesome. I have a million secret boards for all different things. So I think just having it in one place, and my biggest thing is don't feel inadequate by Pinterest. Like, use it as a resource. Don't use it as you're looking at snippets of people's lives. And most of the people that are pinning stuff to Pinterest are bloggers. Like, this is what we do. So of course it's going to look crazy over the top. That's just one snippet of our life, of our work. So just go with it. Have fun with it and find stuff your kids will love.
I agree. And don't forget to add dad to that secret board. I think sometimes we forget it's just as much a parenting platform as it is for us as moms. So that's a fun way to have him add stuff to that, or to even have a dad's secret board where he's kind of planning ideas to do with the kids. Because, you know, it's, I think, just as important for them to be engaged in those choices too together, and not make them so afraid of that platform too. It is a guy's place too. We just need to get him over there. And one thing I think, as your child gets older, it's kind of fun to sit with them and choose some of the activities that they might want to do over the summer. I know with my daughter, she has a little secret board that we take and pin things. I let her look through the screen because, again, I've filtered it to the people I follow, and I let her, ooh, that looks cool, Mom. I want to try out that science experiment, or, you know, that looks like a fun place to go. And even creating kind of a staycation board of things that are local in town might be a fun thing to do, because that's one key thing we really try to do. My kids do a lot better if we have our at-home activities, but I try to go out. That's just something that they do better if we leave the house and come back again if we're home the whole day. So we plan it on a board what we're going to do, but I keep it secret because I don't need everybody to know what we're doing the whole summer long. So I think that's a great tip to do.
I think the other thing is summer reading. Use a board as your summer reading bucket list. Like, you can search any title and someone will have pinned that book. Or you could go to Amazon yourself and pin them. Mm-hmm. Or your local library, even better, then you can reserve it right there. But have it out, because you can also screen capture it and print it out and show like your children, hey, here you go, these are the books we're going to read, and we are going to be just totally ahead of the game when we go back to school, and the reading will be awesome and fun, and teachers will love you for making sure that your child is read all summer, and you have read all these awesome books with your kids, and that's a connecting thing. That's, you know, a parenting thing. So yeah, have your reading bucket list up there on Pinterest as well.
Yes, and Allison and I both share a reading board together, where I think we're always trying to share whatever we can find for parents to use at home and utilize. But, you know, basically we're sending you all the stuff we wish you could have if we knew you were a teacher. So use it. There's a lot of great ideas that bloggers and teachers are sharing on their websites to use. It's funny, I was just talking about my husband. He just sent me a text. He's watching us on Google right now. So he heard that pitch for dads on Pinterest. So I think that's kind of funny. We have a project coming up soon where I'm going to be inviting some key social media people we know and love as bloggers and joining me as dads on Pinterest, and really pinning it for a parenting board, because I'd love to see the dad's perspective. I know a lot of us have parenting boards, but it's kind of moms that are always doing it. So it'll be fun to share a dad's one. So that's a whole nother spin, another topic for another show, I guess. So
my husband is not so social media savvy. He still refers to it as the Twitter.
The Twitter.
And Pinterest, he's like, I don't know, it's something my wife does. Like, it's great. So, but maybe this summer I can get him. We've been using it for home renovation stuff because we're renovating right now, and so maybe I can get him to do some things that
we plan summer travels together. Like, we've planned trips with my in-laws too, so we'll all jump onto a board together and sit and pin the places that we'd like to go to. So it's a great way to kind of visually plan out a vacation together when you're traveling with just more than yourself. So it's kind of fun. And, you know, my son's off at college too, so that's a way for him to pitch in and what's going on. And he and I even share a recipe board together, so I can kind of send him ideas that I see. So there's so many different ways to use Pinterest, but I just wanted to really focus on summer activities, because I know we're all looking at the calendar going, oh, it's getting closer now, and I can't believe it's here already. And, you know, my daughter ends in June, the first week of June. Is that when your kids get out of school?
No, we're done.
Okay. So it's soon, and, you know, the better planned we are, the more opportunities I think we have for those moments of play that we were both talking about, and really feeling like we have our kids with everything that they'll need over the summer, so that there isn't any summer slide between where they leave school in June and when they come back in August.
And I think if we plan it if you plan it carefully, the kids don't even know that what you're planning is educational. I mean, they need a break. We can still give them a break and still give them what they need at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you doing anything special with your site over the summer before we end?
I haven't decided yet. I know. I tend to go by the seat of my pants. I've been doing a summer reading program every year, and I'm going to do it this year, but it's going to be different than it's been in the past years. And I haven't really decided how it's going to evolve. There'll be something. I have no clue what it is.
You know, traditionally, you had everyone submit the minutes they were reading, right?
I did. Oh, the books, actually. The books are chapters, because it was mostly younger kids. So instead of saying, like, you know, 5 minutes, it was per picture book. And then my audience aged with me, and now our kids are reading, like, 39 clues and, you know, chapter books, and it's harder, and they read it by themselves, not with us anymore as much. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And I also blog for Scholastic, and they, of course, have their huge summer challenge every year, and this year the theme is Under the Stars. So I've been doing stuff with that, and so I'm trying to decide exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay. Well, it's a mystery. We will find out soon. I know we've got the Love Book Summer Exchange going on with over 50 bloggers this year sending books and activities to each other. So that'll be fun if you're really looking for resources over the summer for everyone to look at and follow. It'll be in July. And then the Virtual Book Club for Kids, we're going to be hosting a special little summer camp again this year virtually. Okay. So anyone can join us, and there'll be information about that coming out soon. So, Allison, I just want to thank you so much for being here and sharing all your tips for summer activities. And I love sharing Pinterest boards with you. I know we've got quite a few that we share, and I really hope that our readers and our friends turn to them as a source for ideas. So, any final thoughts?
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I know Allison and I both talked about we'll be posting some blog posts about summer activities too. So be sure to check out No Time for Flashcards to find Allison's ideas and the educator spin on it to find activities from me and also from Amanda. So thank you so much for being here. Bye.